Kinda Funny membership drive is happening. To celebrate, we put up 2 formerly exclusive Gregways over the weekend, and we're now letting everyone enjoy your membership exclusive call-ins for weekly happy hours. If you love what we do and haven't supported in a while, come on back for August and pitch in on patreon.com/kindafunny or youtube.com/kindafunnygames with your Kinda Funny membership.
Today's stories include Nintendo Switch 2 might not arrive before April, Dragon Age the Veilguard gets its release date tomorrow, and Valve's unannounced hero shooter. We'll have all this and more because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Wednesday, August 14th, 2024. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is the Luck, Roger Picorni.
My hands are cold, and I'm using the coffee to heat me up.
Good for you.
Like the old times.
Good for you being all resort. You feel like in the old times, you think they use cups of coffee to warm their hands up.
Yeah, I think so.
As opposed to rubbing some sticks together and warming up a fire.
Well, I mean, how far back with the old times? You know what I mean? I'm thinking, what
are the old times?
Let's have a great conversation right now.
Are we thinking maybe like when Nick Scarpino was a child?
Yeah.
Like,
For Roger, the old times are 1995.
So what is the old times to you? If I say the old times, what's the year, the decade that you think of immediately?
BC.
No
Before Christ,
way.
yeah. Before the death of
That's
Jesus
what
Christ.
you're
No
When you
way.
say the old
Sorry,
times?
BCE. That's what they call it now.
BC. What's
Before-
E?
Before the current era or something?
Common era.
Common era, there it is.
It's fucking... I'm tired of these leftists. I'll say it.
The liberals have gone too
They've
far.
gone too far. How are you going to do the Jesus?
Yeah, now
thing
we're
again?
call-
He
now we're
was
woke.
a real man.
Now we're calling breakdancing breaking, you know what I mean?
Okay,
You know what I mean? Come on, bro. Come
no. We've
on.
always called it
Come
breaking.
on, bro.
We've always
Come
called
on.
it breaking.
So you're thinking BCE.
I'm thinking BC. I'm not adopting all this E nonsense.
Well, because here's the thing: it's like my initials are BC, so when people say BC, they get confused of like before Christ or Barrett Courtney, so that's why they added the E.
That's true. That's
Wait,
true.
what do you think of as the old times?
20s. 1920s.
The 1920s.
Yeah.
The
That's
old
what you
times.
Think of the old time.
I
of,
don't know.
like,
My brain thought about the old times, the 1920s.
I guess, how often do we even use the term the old times?
But the 20s were the roaring 20s, so they had a lot of things back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, racism.
Yeah, but they were also
Sexism.
They were also killing it. You know what I mean? Like
Speakeasies.
financially. So like, I guess they had fire and stuff. So
No, I don't
maybe.
think-
Were they killing it financially?
Yeah,
in
it
the
was
20s?
the roaring 20s. Yeah, and then it was the
yeah.
Depression, right?
'Cause they didn't
So
have to
maybe I should have
pay-
been thinking about the 30s.
They didn't have to pay half the population a fair and decent wage.
That's also true. That's also true.
Sounds really familiar.
I mean, listen.
I think of like the beginning of this country, like late 1700s, early 1800s.
The old times.
The old times.
See, when
'Cause
I think of-
the old times of this country,
Interesting. You guys are very America-centric is what I'm learning.
Yes.
When I think of the old
And
times...
you're very religious-centric, you BC.
Right? I think of like cavemen and caves, which is very non-biblical because I don't think they talk about cavemen.
No,
in the
but like
Bible.
I think about that as like the extra old times. You know what I mean? Like the
No.
super old times. Like that's
That's ancient times.
like that might not even happen. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy. Like
Old time and ancient
I can't
times
even
are
think
two
about
different
that.
Things.
That's
Nick
true.
Scarpino calls those the good old days. He's like, oh man, back then.
You got his ass. You got
God,
his
bring
ass.
back the next gen podcast.
Bring it back.
This is gonna be it.
Roger, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I mean, it's like it was beautiful outside yesterday. It's not beautiful today. You know what I mean? That's the life of Daly City, right? Just
Yeah.
not great right
Daly
now.
City, San Francisco, the whole Bay Area. They got
Yeah.
microclimates.
I fucking hate these.
You walk 5
microclimates.
minutes that way, it's gonna look beautiful.
Yeah,
I guarantee
Mike,
it.
where he lives, he's like, "Oh, it's beautiful. You should come down." I'm like, "I'm not coming
He's
to
like,
your
you
house."
live down the street.
I'm not coming to your house. But yeah, no, everything's good.
Hell yeah.
I've been playing some video games. We'll talk about that in the GAMESCAST, which I'll be hosting, which is exciting. We're talking
Oh.
about Visions of Mana. So yeah, we have some fun stuff we'll be talking about.
We have some very fun stuff. Let me tell you, Roger. I've had better days.
Oh,
I've had better
really?
weeks. I've had better
Talk to me.
months. No, it's just my eye keeps getting worse. I want to
Yeah.
acknowledge it because I don't even know if people are gonna be able to see it from this angle. If you give me the one, they'll probably see it because now they're gonna be looking for it because I acknowledged it.
Yeah.
But like, it keeps getting worse and worse. I called up my doctor to give me the referral to go to the Opta.
God, I fucking hate the American healthcare system.
I hate it so much.
How
'cause
so fucking dumb.
For the last 24 hours, it's just been me waiting for a call.
Yeah.
So I can like be like, all right, cool. Now I can call my Opta, so I can go there.
If you miss that call, they're gonna be on lunch break for 2
if
hours.
I miss that call, oh my god, I might die. I might not make it. But hey, we had kickball yesterday. It was a fun time.
Yeah, it was a good time. We did kickball. We lost. Not that bad of a loss.
Not that
though.
bad. It was a respectable game of
and we were
kickball.
down like 5 people. So I mean, like that's pretty
Yeah.
good for us. We were doing great. We had the
We
energy up.
learned a rule.
We learned a
We
really
learned-
massive rule.
Barrett, you want to know the rule we learned that turned things around for us?
We should have known this well into the beginning of the first game.
I didn't even know this was a thing in baseball.
What are you going to say that upsets me?
It's probably going to upset you. Did you know that if you're on the base, right, and you're getting ready to run, if they kick the ball, if it's in the air...
Are you about to tell me about tag runs?
I don't know what the
tagging
name
up
of it,
and shit?
Tagging up, isn't that the thing that the graffiti artists do?
No. Okay. Keep saying.
So if they kick it in the air, right, and you start running and they catch it, you have to go back. Which is, but like
that's called tagging up. You have to tag up if there's a ball in the air. You have to tag up because then you're not safe if it gets caught. You have to be like tagged up.
But like if they catch it, but you haven't ran yet, if they catch it, then you can run.
Yes.
See, we didn't know that.
We didn't know that. They did not explain that.
None of our team.
They did not explain that.
None of our team knew that.
Also, let's be honest. It's kickball. It's a baby's game, right? Why the fuck are we doing this?
Why do we have these advanced rules?
Why do we have these advanced rules?
Why are we making
kickball? Softball, I get it. Kickball,
that is like not an advanced rule.
It's an advanced rule because literally no one on our team understood it, including the people that have played softball and things like that. Like they were like, I don't know, I've never heard.
There was somebody on the opposite team that explained this rule to us, by the way, because it happened. He was very sweet, and he was like, "Yeah, when this happens," and like when I tell you that after he explained that rule, years and years of baseball clicked into place. I was like, oh, the one thing I didn't understand about baseball, I get now.
Yeah.
That was the one rule where I was like, man, it's so inconsistent. What's going on here?
Well, that was the moment that I realized I've been explaining baseball incorrectly to people, including Lanza for years. So that was kind of a, hey, now I'm back at ground zero.
This is why we needed you on our base. See, Bear's getting mad. Bear's the one who said no to kickball.
He could have fixed this all.
You could have been our captain. You could have led us to victory.
Didn't know this. Listen didn't teach us this.
That's true.
I mean, she wasn't there yesterday, so I don't think it.
Is she ever going to return?
This week was tough. Teachers are reporting back this week, and she just got back from seeing our nephew for the very first time. So it was a lot. When she came back, it was a lot of hit the ground running, time to get ready for the school year. I imagine
here's the thing.
She's feeling better next week, maybe. But
there are certain teammates that we have where I'm like, we're never going to see these people ever again.
Oh yeah,
because we lost 3 games in a row of kickball. And like the only people that showed up yesterday were people that we knew. We're like friends of ours, right? The people that are in our circle. That if they didn't show up, we would hunt them down and be like, "Where the fuck were you?"
Joseph Grigsby in the chat says Barrett would be a great coach. Always stress, and that's the other thing is that like I'm just always tired because I hear stuff like this during the workday. By the end of the workday, I'm just fucking like mentally just zoned out.
I know.
I don't know if I'd be able to bring it.
Yeah, that's why I'm the worst captain because I just don't give a fuck after a while. I'm just like, listen, I'm here to have fun. I'm drinking a beer. I'm the only one drinking a beer on the team, and I'm looking around. And I'm like, I don't know.
I've been waiting for you to print out a kick order. You just don't.
I'm not printing out a kick order because I look around. It's all. Here's what. First of all, I can't. If I print out this fucking kick order, half those people are not going to show up. So then I'm going to have to be like, okay, I don't know. So then this is it's 7, now you're 4. I don't know. I'm just going to look at people like, I go this, you go behind me, you go behind me. We had a good one last time.
This last one we had, yesterday we had a good kick order.
We were good. I think the kick order was wrong, though.
The kick order was wrong.
Because the more I thought about it, I was like, oh, yeah, we should probably have it so then people are in front of Kyle, so then the bases are loaded, and then he can go.
Why Kyle? Why not me, though?
That's why usually you want to get your big power hitter in 4th. Because you have 3 consistent hitters in front of them, try ideally get bases loaded.
My hitters. Let's get into the show. Of course, this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy news you need to know about live on YouTube, Twitch, and on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, I did that at the wrong time, but hey, if you love what we do, support us with the Kind of Funny. Again, it's been a bad month for me. Kind of Funny membership on Patreon or YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show. For a chance to be a part of the show, submit your thoughts and opinions as YouTube Super Chats as we go. Housekeeping for you. We're an 11-person business all about live talk shows. Today, after Kind of Funny Games Daily, you're going to get the GAMESCAST, which is our Visions of Mana preview. And then after that, the stream is some Splitgate 2. Surprise, surprise, we're doing the alpha. If you're a Kind of Funny member, you can get today's Gregway being done by the one and only Roger McCorney. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs and Delaney Twining. Today, we're brought to you by Monster Hunter Now, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 7 stories today.
It's a baker's dozen.
Oh, Bear, who was that?
Give me 1 second.
Give me 1 second.
That was Matt Peters.
Yo, Matt Peters, I like that.
That was good.
That was a really good one. Had some sauce to it. Had some swag to it.
Is that like a little New Yorker energy right there, maybe?
I like it, though.
I like it, though.
Man. All right, let's hop into story number 1. Developers reportedly told not to expect the Switch 2 launch before April 2025. This is Tom Ivan at Video Games Chronicle. Developers have reportedly been briefed not to expect Nintendo's next console to launch before April 2025. That's according to GamesIndustry.biz head Chris Dring, who discussed launch plans for Switch's successor on the publication's latest podcast. Nintendo confirmed in May that it'll announce its next console during its current fiscal year, which runs until March 31st, 2025. Quote, "No developer I've spoken to expects it to be launching this financial year," Drink said. In fact, they've been told not to expect it in the current financial year. A bunch of people I spoke to hope it's out in in April or May time, still early next year, not late, end quote. Roger.
Yes.
Does this surprise you? And also, does this change anything for you?
Absolutely not. I if you told me this news story happened 3 times in a row, like I would believe you. You know what I mean? Like I don't I feel like we've been talking about this for so long. And I also have never expected within this financial year to see the Switch 2. Of course, we have the announcement of the announcement coming within the year, and I just never expected them to be like, oh, we're announcing it, and it's coming out in a few months. Like, no, they're going to take their time with this. I'm even of the mind of like, we're at this point now where it's like, fuck, we could even wait till fall of next year. And I know that that's like the worst answer. I know that I hate
How
that.
fucking dare you?
I want it as soon as humanly possible. I'm the one that drafted Metroid Prime 4 for my fantasy critic. I want this thing really badly.
Well, you'll get it on Switch 1.
That is true. That is true as well. But I really want, I want this earlier than not, but I would not be surprised. But what do you feel? Where you?
I mean, I think this comes back to, we need a name for me and Tim, because I feel like me and Tim are like at Kind of Funny are like the keepers of the Switch 2 like lore and release cycle, the theories. Because I think me and Tim have been on the same wavelength as far as we expected was it October that the original Switch was revealed, Barrett? I don't know.
Yes, it was my first week at IGN 2016.
Yeah, so like
that and Red Dead 2. It was crazy. It was a crazy
insane time. Wait, that was 2018. Oh,
well,
Red Dead 2's reveal.
Got like the reveal trailer that was like, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 seconds or whatever. But,
yeah.
It was an image, right? It was like an image on Twitter of just like all 5 of them or whatever.
It was like a bunch
7
of people.
them, and then
it was like all their silhouettes.
There was an image, but I think there was also a teaser trailer, and then you saw them 7 writing down, and then the theory for the longest time was that you're going to play as like 7 different characters.
Yeah.
So sick.
But yeah, I was expecting an October reveal for, hey, here's the Switch 2, here's Jenny on a rooftop playing the Switch 2, and it looks like the Switch, but a lot better. And then we get a big breakdown either in January or February, but if we're going by last time, right, let's say January, and then you get the release in March with big launch slate, exciting games, and like then it's, all right, we've hit the ground running. I think we've shared that theory also because there have been the reports of, Nintendo's financial year and their expectations for the amount of money they're going to make, right? And like a lot of it seemed like it lined up for this fiscal year. But when you go back about a year ago, right, like there are the expectations that we could have gotten the Switch 2 this fall. It seems like the conversations were about us getting it this fall, and it seems like internally it got delayed into next year. The questions become, all right, why did it get delayed? Was it that they want to figure out a better launch slate? Is it that they want to figure out a better launch year? Is it just that the hardware wasn't ready yet, right? You get all these questions. But even with all that said, with the expectation of originally they were going to launch this fall, I would have thought that a delay would just mean, okay, we're still going to get it by the end of the fiscal year. We're still going to get it by March. Them missing March, I think, poses questions as far as like, all right, what is their plan? I know March and April isn't that different. Yeah. Like March and April, that's like fucking a few weeks away, right? Yeah. A few weeks off. But I don't know why, but it changes, I guess, my view of how they go about a Switch 2 launch, right? A Metroid, I forget if did they announce when Metroid Prime is coming out? Did they just say 2025? That could be a year wrong, unless Barrett or somebody can fact check me in the moment. But I wonder how that plays into it, right?
2025, yeah.
Was it just 2025?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, like I wonder how that plays into it. I wonder, again, what that launch slate looks like. I wonder what the first 3 months of the year look like as far as Switch titles, because I don't think it'll just be Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Yeah, that's the only one that we have, right?
That's January.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, when are we getting the announcement, you think? Are we getting it within the next few months, or are we getting it, hey...
I still stick by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll think October,
Okay.
November.
And is that, are we just thinking it's hey, it's just a trailer out there, or is it a, hey, we're doing a direct, we're doing a big thing,
No.
we're doing a live stream?
I think it's something light. I think for Nintendo, you get a bit closer to the launch of the hardware to like hype people up because they have that luxury as Nintendo, and then also like I think you can create this big wave. Unless you're gonna do a thing where you have multiple directs, like if they have one direct this fall and then another direct right before the Switch 2 comes out to announce even more things. I think that worked pretty well with I think PlayStation did that for PS5, right? Where they had like the June event and then that fall, I think they announced like God of War and Spider-Man 2 and all these things, right?
Yeah.
I could see Nintendo doing something like that, but I think the easier thing for them would be to go, hey, here's an initial Switch 2 launch or Switch 2 reveal trailer that is bare bones. It's 1 minute to 2 minutes long. Might be Mario looking out a curtain. And then follow that up, sometime next spring or like I guess early next year with a big Switch 2. I don't even think a direct. I think they do a stage presentation.
Oh,
yeah. I think you get on stage.
Really?
I think you bust out the. I feel like this is one of the rare moments where Nintendo has to come out and like it has to feel bigger than life. Thank you so much for Mario looking over the curtain, Barrett.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't think they do a stage presentation. I think that they did something similar to that, right? Within the first year of the Switch, right? They had like
that was right before. That's how they led into the Switch.
Yeah, it was like Splatoon 3, right? And they showed off that, I believe so.
There was a couch.
Well, that was the one where we got Mario Odyssey and Zelda Breath of the Wild.
That's where we got the big story trailer for Breath of the Wild.
The big story trailer, yeah. That's where we got. Forget if Arms is probably a part of that.
I think that was like late January 2017.
Yeah, which is like right before the Switch.
Splatoon
that was
2,
also Project Octopath Traveler.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're going to do a stage presentation. I mean, that's exciting. I just don't. There's so many variables. There's so many variables with that, and I think that they see the positives of just putting out a video, right? Putting out a Nintendo Direct. They've been doing it for so long, and I think the last time they did it was probably the Switch. Launch, right? So it's like there's a reason they haven't done it again, and I don't think it's they're just waiting for the next hardware to put out this big show. We're gonna be on stage and shit's gonna break, or it's not gonna look as good as we need to. Like you want all of the hype humanly possible going into this thing. I wouldn't put it past them. It's Nintendo. Yeah. They're gonna make weird fucking decisions, but I would hope in my heart of hearts they don't do this.
If the Switch 2 is not fundamentally different than the Switch 1, I don't think we get it. But I think the reason they felt like they needed to do that like live presentation, obviously to get like excitement and all this stuff, but like the Switch was so different than like, you know, the years of just the Wii U and like all that stuff. So I felt like they needed to kind of like show it in action on stage and remind people of like there's these Joy-Cons and this is how they work kind of thing. I think if the Switch 2 is fairly similar but just better, I don't think they would do it.
See, I don't think they're going to do. Even if they don't do like a live stage presentation, I don't think they do a direct. I know this might sound insane to say, but I think you need to go bigger than direct to sell hardware. I think the way that Nintendo views it, the direct is, or the directs have been, hey, we got first party software, we got third party software, we're announcing Mario and Luigi Brotherhood at this thing, right? Like there's a level of expectation that I think people have for directs and we know what they are and we get excited for them, right? But I think for Nintendo, the way they look at a Switch hardware, it has to be a standalone special presentation. It has to be whether it's on stage or whether they're recording like a different sort of video with the execs talking directly into the camera and it being like a more personable thing. Like, I think they have to make it appointment viewing in a way that is above a Nintendo Direct.
I agree with that, but I also think that there's a few other different avenues for this. One, first thing starts talking about the stage presentation. It's been a long time since that stage presentation. A lot has changed in media and the way that we consume things. We had an entire pandemic. So I don't necessarily think that they're itching to go back to that. But I also think in terms of selling hardware, a huge boon to this would be them putting this in Best Buys around the world, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like actually getting this in the hands of people, showing how different it is. I think that sells a lot more pieces of hardware than actually just being like, here's a thing and look, you can do the thing. Like, no, you want people to fucking touch this thing and be like, hey mom over here that you already bought a Switch Lite. This is different. Like, this is way different. Look what it can actually play. Look what it can actually do. So putting it in people's hands is the most important thing. And you see them actually opening up an actual Nintendo store in San Francisco, which is wild. Like they're trying to actually have physical locations to go to, and also their collaboration with Best Buy, which they've had for almost a decade now, where they've been putting Smash Brothers there and like new pieces of hardware in the actual stores. I think that is the avenue they're going to go.
I think this is an interesting conversation because what out there back is, do you think the brick and mortar stores matter anymore in regards to that? GameStop is going away.
Yeah,
Best Buy is becoming less popular. They're not selling Blu-rays anymore. Like, do you feel like there's still and maybe this might be a conversation about GameStop and Best Buy in particular of like, you know, these things becoming less and less relevant for a wider amount of people. I think you're right as far as get things in people's hands. Barrett's brought up the digital. GameStop keeps tweeting about digital media versus physical media, even though they just shut down Game Informer.
Fucking fuck.
I agree with you as far as you want to get this into people's hands to sell them. On the other hand, though, it's Nintendo and it's the successor to the Switch.
Yeah.
We assume, right? We assume this is the Switch too. How much more selling do you need to do?
But I also think that, first of all, I think that is the reason why they would put it in stores. Because one, it's Nintendo. I think PlayStation is at the point now where they're like, they used to do that for PS4. The original PS4 was before it was actually put out there. They were like, oh, you can play the PS4 in Sony stores and like you can go in there and like actually get hands on. They were trying to sell it that way. I don't believe they did that for PS5. Of course, it was pandemic, but I don't think they would have even done that without the pandemic. There's a reason why they're going towards like an all digital future. Nintendo, I think they see this as this is something that we want people to go into brick and mortar stores. We want people to actually play this in person.
Yeah.
And I think specifically with the Switch 2, it's even a harder ask, right? Because parents are going to look at this and be like, it's literally says Switch on it. It's probably going to play the same games. It's probably going to look similar in the same sense that it is the same Joy-Cons or whatever it is. So I think they're going to have to look at parents and be like, this is a different thing, and we need to show how excited your kids are going to be for this.
But the question is, one, what is the gimmick to it? Is there a gimmick? Is there a different gimmick to it at all? Because I do think that there's a high possibility that they run into that of, even when you get your hands on it as a parent or whoever, you go, oh yeah, this is just a upgraded Switch 1. Wait, what is the selling point here? I think the selling point is going to be the software. I think the way you sell Switch 2 is to go, hey, we have a new Mario, a new Zelda, a new this, a new that, and it doesn't play on the Switch 1. So the only way you can play the new Mario Kart or the new Animal Crossing is to buy the Switch 2. I think that's going to be the bigger seller than even getting people's hands on it, because depending on what the Switch 2 is, which we don't know, I think the reports and the assumptions and the rumors are just, oh yeah, it's a more powerful Switch thing that's going to have like, AI upsampling and all this stuff. But I do think that stuff is harder to sell on a get your hands on it level, especially if you already are a person that plays the Switch 1, because cool, it's another Switch thing that's more powerful.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
No, I was just going to say, like, I really hope that the Switch 2 has a visual difference. Like, we look at that and we go from, like, the Game Boy to the Game Boy Advance, right? Like, I know it's not going to have that full-on, like, oh my gosh, this is a next-gen system. This is insane. But it needs to have that easily recognizable visual difference in order to get people on its side, because with the name of it all, right? Switch 2, I think, is a way stronger name, and it needs to be Switch 2. We've talked about this for forever, but we can't do Switch U. We can't do anything weird like that, because we have I always go back to the same anecdote where it was, I forget what year it was. It was the year that this Wii U was releasing.
Yeah.
And Michelle Obama, because the Obamas were in the presidency at that time, they had a bunch of kids like...
Really?
Yeah.
Was it 2012? What was this?
I guess so. Like, whatever. They had a bunch of, or maybe, whatever.
No, you're right.
Yeah. So then they had a bunch of kids over for like the Christmas thing. They have a bunch of kids like, oh, what do you want for Christmas? And then one of the kids looks at Michelle Obama and says, a Wii U. And she's like, what's that? Like, is that a sequel? It's like, is that an attachment to the Wii? Like, she had no idea what that is. You know what I mean? Like, and that was a great example of why that name sucks. So one, if we have the Switch 2, that makes sense. Like, hey, it's just the sequel to the Switch. And then two, if we look at it and we're like, oh no, that's completely different. Those are the two things go together to make this, oh, this is an easy sell. And then I would be like, okay, we don't even need to put these in Best Buys.
Yeah. The tough thing there is, one, is it going to be completely different, right? Yeah. Like, I don't think it will, just based on where we're at with Nintendo hardware and how much the Switch, like how much people have been accustomed to the Switch and how successful the Switch has been. There's that thing of, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Yeah. And then there's the other thing of weird Nintendo decisions, right? Where those two things clash so much, because to your point of it just needs to be called the Switch 2, Nintendo's not been faced with, I think, this particular instance of like having to follow up on a very successful piece of hardware and probably, then this is where I'm getting at, right? Probably have to double down on the branding of that hardware and be successful. I feel like the only time they've been successful with that, if you would count this, would be the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Outside of that, right? N64, they switched it up and went GameCube, no pun intended. That's a crazy sentence. That's a fucking bar. A rapper needs to steal that. But like, they switched to GameCube. Then GameCube switched the branding to Wii. Wii is the one time where they're like, the Wii is so successful. we got to keep this branding.
Sure,
make
I mean,
the
with the
Wii U.
DSs and stuff and the Game Boys.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a very good point.
I mean, they have had this in the handheld market, and to various degrees of success, right? We have the DS and the DSi, and there's confusion there, and then there's also like the new 3DS, and it's like, okay, well, that plays only certain games. So there's a lot of confusion. There's a history of confusion.
Yeah.
I just need them to not be confusing this time. And I to your point, right, of like weird Nintendo decisions, I would not be surprised. I think we're kind of creating the perfect handheld for us, right? You and me, where it's like, oh, I want my Joy-Cons to work. Oh, I want my games to work.
Yeah.
There is a very real possibility where none of that works. We are starting from ground zero. No games from the Switch 1 work, and no peripherals from the Switch 1 work.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't think that's crazy. I don't think that's crazy, and I don't think that would hurt as many gamers as we're acting like it will.
Yeah.
Because of course people will be salty about it, just like any new piece of hardware. It's like, oh, my PS4 controller doesn't work with XYZ, whatever it is. Like I know that actually PS4 controllers, I believe, work with PS5, whatever.
Yeah.
We're gonna be salty about it, but I don't think it's gonna stop people from buying it.
I think
and
that
getting
is
exciting about it.
I think that very much feels like Wii U era Nintendo decision making, right? And I think there are plenty of things during the Wii U era that were the downfall of Nintendo. One of them was the marketing and calling it the Wii U and all this stuff, right? I think another one of those were just it feeling a bit, I guess, old in terms of thinking, right? Old in terms of this is not keeping up with where we're at in consoles in 2013 or whatever year that was, right? I feel like a Nintendo going, oh, you can't carry forward any of your games to the Switch 1. Oh, you're not going to carry forward your library. I think that might be one of the things that makes people go, oh, I'm not getting a Switch 2 then.
Yeah.
I'm not going to support this. I think that angers
there.
audiences on a level where it's like, no, you're Nintendo right now. You have so much goodwill. You have so much hype and anticipation going on to your next thing. I do think that this might be the most, I guess, like modern thinking forward Nintendo's going to be going into a new console. I think we already have the ecosystem of Nintendo Switch Online and how that works and all that stuff, right? And like
Nintendo accounts that actually will be able to go over to the next console.
Like I think they have all of the things set up to make that an easier transition than it has been in previous consoles past.
Yeah.
So I think that stuff's gonna be good. The Joy-Con stuff I think is gonna be weird.
I agree with you. The games are going to move over for sure at some level, right? I'm sure that they're going to charge you for all the upgrades. Breath of the Wild is not going to be 60 FPS out the box. I'm sure they'll be like,
you don't think so?
I don't think there's
because I think that's a selling point right there.
I think some of them may some third party developers might be like, oh, it's for free. Who cares? Like PS4 and PS5 did, right? Like, but I do think that Nintendo's going to be like, give us $10. Give us the 20 right now for Tears of the Kingdom at 100 FPS, whatever it is.
That'd be nuts.
But I do think that the peripherals are going to get messy.
The peripherals for sure are going to get messy. Yeah. There's reports. I already forget what the reports were, but it was like there's new Joy-Cons that are magnetic now. They don't do like the sliding thing. Which means that the current Joy-Cons probably aren't going to work, right?
Yeah. Or I could see them doing the thing where it's like, oh no, the Joy-Cons don't work with you can't attach it to the actual Switch 2, but you can Bluetooth it.
I think for sure that's going to be the way it goes, and there's still going to be weirdness when it goes from game to game. There are going to be some games that don't interact with it well for whatever reason, right?
Yeah.
And that'll just be a thing that we'll have to figure out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm so fascinated by how they go about that initial trailer. What are the things that they want us to understand about the Switch 2 that makes it the Switch 2?
My hope,
if they call it the Switch 2.
hope is that we see the Switch 2 and we literally go, like, you know what I mean? Like, I want that. I don't want it's a Switch.
It won't make you do that.
I don't know. I really do not know. I'm truly thinking from the jump from like a Game Boy to a Game Boy Advance, where it's like, oh, I did not know that we could do that. Like, it has an interesting design. Like, maybe it is more of a bold design. Maybe it isn't just a tablet. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it has a little bit more interesting, lines to it. Yeah, 2 screens. I don't know what it is, but like maybe it has a little bit more boldness going to it. Because when you look at we ranked all the handheld consoles and the home consoles. You look at the Switch, it is kind of boring, other than the Joy-Cons, which are sick.
How dare you? I fucking dare
you. You were on my side. I think so.
I forget what side I was on. But I like how the Switch looks.
But I do think the Switch is kind of a boring console. Looking at it just objectively. I want some boldness. Maybe it's just on the dock. Maybe the dock
I feel like you forgot the 2017 feel.
Oh, I know.
Of when they first launched that thing.
It just now has gotten a little boring. We just look at it and we're like, oh, it's fine. I want maybe more of a Switch Lite element to it, where Switch Lite is a really cool looking console and has these colors and is bold and is fun and is exciting. How do we take that and bring that to the regular Switch 2? It's interesting.
Yeah,
I like out of the box.
I like the Switch. I like the OG Switch design way more than the Switch Lite. But I think that's also Switch Lite looks more like a toy to me, which I don't think is an inherently bad thing. Because Switch Lite, I think, is for people to buy for their younger family members, right? Or just a cheaper option. And I think it's smart to have like the OG Switch, which I feel like does give off a bit more piece of tech, and then the Switch Lite, which gives off more of a, hey, like all ages, have fun sort of vibe to it. I think you want to mimic that. I think Switch 2, whatever you launch with, needs to feel like oh snap, like this feels technologically like a step forward. And then a couple years down the line, you get more bold with it, and you get more cutesy with it. You get more demure. I don't know if you've seen the demure TikToks.
No, I haven't.
Oh man, you gotta.
I think Leanza said it to me once, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
I gotta get you my algorithm. My algorithm's sick right now.
Oh shit!
My algorithm right now is demure and Steph Curry making threes.
Oh yeah,
that's my entire algorithm right now.
Yeah, we have different algorithms.
Roger,
the Rizzler.
Let's move on to story number 2. Bioware is revealing the Dragon Age the Veilguard release date tomorrow. They have up a graphic here that kind of showcases their upcoming reveals. On August 15th, that's tomorrow, they got the release date trailer and announcement for the game. On August 19th, they're showing off high-level combat and PC spotlight. On August 25th, Companions Week, and then they go on to talk about other things. You can see it right here.
We got a roadmap for announcements.
We got a roadmap, and here's the thing, right? I respect roadmaps. I respect, marketing doing their thing, right? Like, it's a tough job, and like, you got to get people invested somehow. But I'm like, Companions Week? Is that what we're doing? You want me to get excited for Companions Week? I think
the Dragon Age sickos are going to be excited for
Companions Week.
I'm trying to think of games that, like, what's a game that I'm excited for? I guess if Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, if they're like, here's the week of enemies, we're showing off new enemies in the game. I'm like, all right.
Listen, if Yakuza did this, I'd be so fucking hyped, dude. I'd be like, oh shit. I'm there for Companions Week. It's going to be crazy.
Listen, if it was Outer Worlds, I'd be like, all right.
Outer Worlds?
Like, it was Outer Worlds 2, and they were trying to market it, and they're like,
you dropped it out. I mean, that was a good call. I mean, it literally.
Yeah, no, it didn't come out this year. Of course.
What if it did? What if it did? What if it was great?
Wasn't that a selling point for Starfield? Was like, look at all these cool companions.
They have Companions Week.
They didn't make a week out of it.
You don't know that.
I mean, they're cowards. That's why,
Like, most RPGs, most like these kind of RPGs nowadays have like companions. I don't need a whole week about them. That's like when Nintendo was like,
here's the thing.
Here's
Don't
the
knock
year
it
of
until you
Luigi.
try it, Bless. I want you to check in for every day of Companions Week. See how you like it.
They're gonna have the sickest companions ever every single day. I'm gonna come in Monday like, guys, you're not gonna believe this. They've got Steph Curry in the game. He's a companion.
Shit.
So this is coming in October, yeah?
So here's the thing, right? Yeah, they have like their YouTube video that's official release date trailer. My 2 questions are, why like this? Like, why are we just doing the release date thing just on a random Tuesday or what's tomorrow? Thursday, on a random Thursday? And then also, yeah, when do we think it is?
Yeah, I mean, when they announced it at Xbox, right? So it's like we're not getting
that CG trailer that people hated.
So it's we're probably not at opening night live. We're probably not at Xbox's thing. So it's like, yeah, they're trying to get ahead of it, get their headline, and then just be on the show floor, I'm assuming, right?
I mean, here's the interesting thing. Week of August 19th, they say high-level combat and PC spotlight. Not necessarily the 19th.
Yeah.
So if it's a PC spotlight, I could imagine something like that being at opening night live or something.
Yeah, maybe. Are they going to give Jeff that money to be like, hey, here, let's show off our PC spotlight.
Here's $2.5 million
opening night live.
I mean, I'm not the same fees, but I'm sure he's charging a pretty penny to be like, hey, here's our PC spotlight.
Yeah,
multiple monitors.
I mean, we had this conversation on GAMESCAST yesterday about opening night live and what to expect from opening night live and like the level of announcements. I feel like Dragon Age, the Veilguard release trailer announcement would be on the high end of what you can get for a Gamescom opening night live. And I'm sure there was a conversation there as far as like Jeff and Bioware talking. And I want to know where the breakdown was, because for some reason, opening night live is the level that it is, right? For some reason, opening night live is the show that we get least excited about between all the Jeff Keighley stuff. And yeah, I wonder if it is the prices where like maybe publishers are just like, no, we're not going to pay that much for Gamescom opening night live. No, we'll pay
just
that much
do it ourselves.
Yeah, we'll pay it for Game Awards and pay it for other things, not for opening night live.
The audience is not trained on opening night live, or at least the American audience. I know that there's abroad, there's a bigger audience for Gamescom, but for us, it's just like, oh, it's like we forget about it. Like I think it was like a few weeks ago, like when we're like looking at the calendar for our things, like opening night live predictions. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like that's like, happening now?
We're predicting these.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit.
But yeah, as far as when this game is coming out, I don't know, man. I guess October. Was that was that like a rumor?
That was something we brought up with Jeff saying it was they were aiming for late October at some point in the last like week or so. But the interesting thing, we didn't read it, but the IGN first exclusive will month-long exclusive coverage will begin in September. And I think like having that month-long exclusive coverage going right in October, I think just feels right.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my Blessing Super Fun Game release calendar right now, which I got to update because I remember Reese got delayed.
Oh, shit.
And Stalker got delayed. Was it Stalker? Yeah, Stalker got delayed.
Stalker got delayed to November. Avowed got delayed.
Yeah, I got a lot
came
of
out this
changes
year
to make.
though. Should have kept it.
Should I have? Listen, right now, October, you got what? Diablo 4, Vessel of Hatred. You got Silent Hill 2. You got Dragon Ball Sparking, Metaphor ReFantasio, New World, Super Mario Party Jamboree. Yeah, you can drop it in October. You can drop it.
Drop it in October.
You can drop it in October. But you then also have Black Ops 6.
Yeah,
but like, is the Dragon Age?
There's
audience.
overlap there, but I don't think it's like 100%.
Crazy.
I don't think Dragon Age looks at any of these games and goes, "Fuck," you know.
Yeah, that's
This
fair.
is wild. I mean, like, this is kind of wild that we're like how fast this marketing and like to release is of this game, because when I remember in the beginning of the year when Jeff Grubb was like, he still had it on his fantasy crate, like he drafted it, and like none of us drafted it, of course, we were like, this game's not coming out. And then he's like, oh no, it's still coming out this year. I was like, there's no way this is coming out this year. And it's happening this fast. Like, it's kind of wild.
Wow,
it gets me excited. It's like, oh shit, you guys have something here, hopefully.
Are you gonna play it?
Yeah, I'll play it. I'll try it out. Will I finish it? That's another question, but how about
Yeah.
you? Are you excited?
I mean, in a perfect world, I'd like to play it.
Yeah.
In the real world we live in, I look at these other games and like, I think Dragon Age is going to have a bigger splash than so many of these games that I read, but I personally am somebody who's more likely to play Dragon Ball Sparking Zero or Metaphor ReFantasio or like Super Mario Party Jamboree, honestly, or Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Like a lot more
Call
of
of
these
Duty
games.
Black Ops 6.
Dude, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 would be
Dude,
sick.
come on, bro.
But yeah, a lot of
Open beta.
and then I
Come
didn't
on.
even get to Sonic Cross Shadow Generations or Life is Strange.
When is that?
That is October 25th.
And when's that fucking trailer for the Sonic 3 movie? Are we getting it at Opening Night Live? No, Jeff don't got it like that.
No,
Jeff
yeah,
don't got
I'm sorry.
it like that.
That's not. You got to go bigger than that.
We gotta go bigger than
You
Jeff.
got to go like Comic-Con or something. You know?
I need
We
Hideo
already passed
Kojima
it.
to introduce the trailer.
Yeah, what's the biggest stage possible you can put a Sonic 3
Hideo
on?
Kojima-
Honestly, they
Twitter.
missed it. It was the Olympics.
Oh, that'd be after breakdancing?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
shit.
eight.
What's up?
Breaking.
So, you're right.
Oh!
I say breakdancing.
Got your
I
ass.
say breakdancing
Wow,
because of you
bless.
people to make it more palpable for you people.
Uh-huh. Sure.
All right, because you call it that. Fuck.
Sure.
Shit. God damn it. And then Life is Strange 2 Double Exposure comes out October 29th.
Yes.
October is such a stacked month for me personally.
Yeah.
Like, this all sounds like fantastic stuff that I'm not going to be able to get all, like, I'm not going to be able to get all
That's
this.
so true. If this game overlaps with Life is Strange, it's like, nah, it's over. Fuck that.
Like, what sitcom is the gif where like the dude has like the fork and knife and has all these plates coming towards? I feel like it's Malcolm in the Middle or something like that. Where he's
Oh,
like,
no, you're thinking of, I think Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
You're right,
And it's
you're
like
right.
all the breakfast being served.
it was Sabrina the Teenage
Oh.
Witch, yeah, and she's like has all these plates. That's what I feel like in October.
I was thinking about I Love Lucy with the chocolates.
That the old times for you?
Yeah, it's old
I
times.
Love
That's
Lucy?
1920s. That was 1920s, right?
When
It
was
was
I
black
Love-
and white. That's when everything was black and white, by the way.
There's no way I Love Lucy was in the 1920s. No, that doesn't make sense. I was like, but if I had to guess though, I'm gonna say 40s.
Fun fact, I used to, way back in the day, used to date a girl who thought that life was black and white back in that time.
Okay.
No.
Did you break up with her immediately?
No. She was
No.
fucking with you. 1951 is when I Love Lucy was.
Not my brightest days, plus.
How old are you?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you.
What age was this?
Please tell me.
Oh, this was high school. This
Okay.
was like sophomore year.
I get it then. Yeah.
Nah, man.
It's like you're-
even
like, you're
even if it's a
dating- here's the
sophomore, I was
thing.
like, what are we doing?
You're dating a baddie, and she's like, "Yeah, man, it was black and white back then." You hear that, and you're just like, maybe it was.
Fella, she's a 10. Fella,
maybe it was black and white.
Fella, she's a 10, but she thought it was black and white back
I
in
don't
the
know,
40s.
man. Listen, that's a 9 to me. That's still a 9.
1 point down, 1 point down.
1 point down. I'm sorry. Listen, nobody's perfect. Thank you. Somebody in chat, Ernie Cooper in chat. Nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect.
Sometimes you think
nobody's
it was,
perfect.
It was black and white back in the 40s.
Beautiful.
But you know what is perfect? The content we got serving up to you on patreon.com/kindafunny and youtube.com/kindafunnygames. The Gregways that we got serving to you. Of course, you can go there to get that content, and you can go there to get the Kinda Funny membership and get shows ad-free. And speaking of ads, let us tell you about our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Monster Hunter Now. There's never been a better time to jump in and play Monster Hunter Now. The game allows you to embark on a global quest in the real world to track down and hunt monsters from the Monster Hunter universe with your friends. For a limited time, earn a powerful Mr. Beast sword and shield, the perfect starter weapon for new hunters via the Mr. Beast quest line. Check this out.
Wait.
Late for work. Then Monster Hunter. Now. Boring date. Then Monster Hunters. Now. Then. Now. Then. Now. Then. Now. Then.
Not now.
Then. Now. Monster Hunter now. Hunt anywhere.
Download Monster Hunter now by scanning this QR code or going to kindafunny.com/Monster Hunter now. Again, go to kindafunny.com/Monster Hunter now to get Monster Hunter now.
Roger. Leanza walks up to you when you go home today.
Oh shit.
And she's like, you know, back in the 1940s when everything was black and white, and when you stop her, right? What do you do next? Like, are you like, I
would be like, haha, funny one, right? Like, funny one. That's a good one.
But then she frowns and she's like, what do you mean? What do you mean funny?
I don't like this role play we're doing. You got really
it's
into
fucking
it?
funny until it happens to you, Roger.
You got really into it?
I was trying to do a thing.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do you mean funny? What do you say?
So you think that people in the 1920s were black and white, or?
Of course, sweetie. What?
I think I might think it's a joke even when she says no, this is a real thing. You know what I mean? Like, I would be so delusional.
Knowing how much you love Leanza, you're not leaving her though.
No,
over the black and white thing.
No,
like again, something
we might have to do couples therapy. We might have to have a conversation. We might have to actually she might have to go back to college. But hey, in order for this relationship to work, you need to go back to college.
Golly. All right, we got a bunch of super chats that you guys wrote in regarding a lot of the Nintendo stuff. Actually, DJ Kento writes in and says, "Do you think new Joy-Cons have HD rumble? How many games actually use that? Is there a real reason to keep that tech going?"
No, it doesn't have HD rumble. It has 4K rumble.
Whoa. Yeah, I honestly think HD rumble, is that not just, I guess that's not haptics, right?
No.
I think they sub it out with haptics. I feel like the haptic feedback in the PS5.
Oh, you're saying the thing that the PS5 has specifically. Okay.
Where it's like specific targeted.
If I'm not correct me if I'm wrong, yeah, HD rumble is a type of haptics. So haptics is like kind of like the general like rumble of a controller, and then HD is like their specific version of that.
I think they dial it in to be a bit more like precise and accurate.
I don't think they even talk about it. I think just like it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Like it's like that. I think that was just like a fun little one-off. I think they're gonna have a new fun one-off. You know what I mean? They're gonna be like, oh yeah, you're right. Like, oh, you flip it up and there's another screen. Oh, we have a stylus in this one. You don't need a stylus. We put a stylus in there though. Don't worry about it.
I think genuinely, I think they have to talk about it. I think they have to talk about what rumble. Unless they are just sticking with the same exact HD rumble as the Switch one.
I think they have to acknowledge it. We have HD rumble. It feels better. Leave it at that. Okay. You know what I mean? Like it's just better. Don't worry about it. We don't have to talk about it. We don't need to make 1-2 Switch. We already made a sequel. Don't worry about it.
What's up,
here we go. 4K rumble. Just bouncing off of your idea, Roger. It actually, you feel the shakes and all that stuff, but then also you feel the temperature of things. So if you're in like cold world of Mario, it gets a little bit colder. If you're in sand world in Mario, it gets burning hot. You can't play anymore.
Children have burning.
Do you know how pissed off I would be with like if my Joy-Con died because I hit a lava level? Like, how mad I would be.
So
like fuck Nintendo, man. What the fuck? I just want to play my game. No, I'm dying because I hit a snow level. We got another one from Jay Plays Casual that says, "How much do you think the Switch 2 will be?"
Oh shit! How much did the first one launch for?
$300? Is that right? Chat, correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm looking it up.
400 sounds about right.
It was. Hold on. The original Switch model.
$400? I paid $400 for that thing.
I think
I'd do it again.
Oh, so $299. I think 400 around here sounds about right.
Oh, people are saying it'll be 400.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say. I was like, I feel like
with inflation, with everything, and also with how fucking popular the Switch is.
Yeah,
400. I think is easy.
400 is tough though.
It's tough, but I think this is a premium product. This is a new thing. You should go get it.
I think if you're gonna hit 400, I think you're gonna have two models, and one of them is cheaper than 400. I think maybe
one of them doesn't have the hot controllers.
One of them doesn't warm up and cool down.
I think it'll be $350. I think it'll be the same price as the Switch OLED model and how that launched. But this, as far as reports go, this is not going to launch with OLED, right? Bless.
Yeah.
And so I think for other reasons, it'll be a bit more than the original Switch at launch, but not a full 400.
I'm gonna say 2 models, 350 and 400.
Interesting. And what is that 400 one?
Maybe more space. Maybe like it comes with a case.
Did they ever do
like
that?
Steam Deck. Do they ever like do different like internal memory?
Yeah,
they didn't for the Switch.
I don't think they
originally
did that for even like the handhelds or anything like that. I know that was a different generation.
Yeah, because you have your own mini SD card input that you can add.
Yeah.
That like literally add like hundreds and hundreds of gigs to it. So I don't think they're ever really worried about like using different models. Of
I know.
Because if I'm doing big brain Nintendo business, right? Oh man, we want to sell 2 SKUs. Oh, but they can just buy external memory and put it in there. What if we went proprietary?
Yeah.
What if we build our own memory cards that they can only buy?
What if we just use all the leftover Vita memory cards? And we just say, yo, you have to buy a Vita memory card, just put it in there.
Listen, businesses are going to business. Yeah, at the end of the day, Nintendo's a business.
I think 400.
DJ Kento writes in with another one, says, N64 was almost called Ultra 64. The Killer Instinct arcade would say only on Ultra 64 on its demo screen.
That's sick.
That's pretty cool. Hold on. I'm going to save these two for when we get to the super chat question because they're about a different topic. For now, let's move on to story number 3. Valve's unannounced hero shooter is already one of Steam's most played games. This is Tom Ivan at Video Games Chronicle. Despite being unannounced, Valve's latest game is currently one of Steam's most popular titles. The game in question is a hero shooter called Deadlock, which leaked in May when videos and details were shared online following the launch of a private playtest. Valve has significantly ramped up playtesting for the game in August to the extent that Deadlock is currently among the top 100 played games on Steam.
Insane.
According to figures on SteamDB, Deadlock had an all-time peak of 18,254 concurrent players on August 12th. Before this month, Deadlock's peak concurrent player count was just shy of 2,700. The recent player count spike may suggest an official reveal for Deadlock isn't far off. IGN reports that Valve is using an invite system for the game's current early access period, where certain Steam players are receiving invites and then can suggest other users to also receive invites. According to well-informed Valve enthusiast Tyler McVicker, Deadlock has been in development since 2018, features tower defense mechanics, and has a fantasy setting mixed with steampunk. Quote, "This is meant to be Valve's next major competitive game, the next Counter-Strike, the next Dota," he said in May. "It's hero-based, it's class-based, it's very personality-driven," end quote.
It's hero-based, it's class-based, it's just based.
It's a based-ass video game.
Wow, what a wild
WoW's
one.
a different game.
Huh?
Sorry. I made a joke. I said WoW's a different game. Continue.
Okay, that was good.
wasn't.
This is interesting. It is wild because like from what I'm gathering, like any player that's in the game can invite anybody on their friends list. So it's like you can just kind of keep on spreading this beta to everybody pretty much. So like there's a subreddit right now where everyone's just in there just like, hey, add me and I'll just send you invites.
How do I know nobody that's playing this game?
Same.
Somebody send me an invite. I want to play Deadlocked.
Yeah, I know, right? Now it's wild that they're doing it like this. I understand why, because I mean, it seems like they're going to be opening it up pretty soon. I mean, I don't know if this is a Gamescom announcement. I mean, that would be really sick if that was
that'd be huge.
I mean,
for
Jeff.
Gamescom.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff and Valve do have a connection, right? And they have announced some pretty. I mean, I wouldn't say big stuff with Jeff before, but they have a connection that dates all the way back to the origin of his career. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's there. I'm excited to see this. I like when Valve swings for the fences, tries new things, and them going for a Dota, competitive third-person shooter type game. Like that's interesting to me. I do wish they made Team Fortress 3. Wish we just did that instead. But I mean, anything that they're excited about, I'm excited about. Unless it's the card game, I'm not playing that card game.
Valve is they're like the Frank Ocean of video games, where you just pop out whenever you want to, drop a hit album, and then
or you just drop a random single that's like garbled on a phone, and we're like, okay, I'll take it, I guess.
Because why is this coming out this way? Why is it in the longest alpha/beta ever?
Yeah,
and then wait, is this Deadlock? What is this?
No, it's the card game that they announced.
Artifact.
Yeah, they announced
Artifact.
Well,
I forgot about Artifact. Holy shit!
They announced it at Counter-Strike, like a Counter-Strike thing, or maybe it was a Dota thing, and then everyone was like excited because they're like, oh shit, it's going to be something big, and it wasn't. It was just this. Like cool.
Remember last year when they released Counter-Strike 2?
Yeah, and it's just the new. They just replaced Go. So yeah,
I'm looking at their damn. What if I told you Valve releases a game every year? Because I'm looking at it now, right? They had Counter-Strike 2 last year. The year before that, they had Aperture Desk Job. Remember that for Steam Deck?
Yes. That was pretty
cool
cute.
little Steam Deck like tech thing. They had Artifact Foundry, which must have been an expansion, or it was the game. I'm not sure which. And then before that, they had Half-Life Alyx in 2020.
Oh, wow.
They had Dota Underlords, and then before that, they had Artifact in 2018.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we're ramping up towards, hey, Valve is releasing a game every year in some capacity. Maybe it's an expansion, maybe it's something. But like, I mean, we saw those rumors, Half-Life 3. You know what I mean? White Sands or whatever.
What rumors?
I mean, I saw some things of like codename White Sands or whatever was popping up everywhere. So like, what if this is the time, Blessing? What if Half-Life 3? What if this is just the start? What if Half-Life 3 is within this game? Think about that.
I don't know if we'll ever Half-Life 3 being in a multiplayer.
It's just like hidden in there. You know what I mean?
Like hero shooter would be nuts. It's like an arcade machine. You walk up and it's a 20-hour Half-Life game in there. But yeah, to your thing of like, what if that's their thing? They're just gonna release a game every year. They strike me as like they have teams that are making video games, but they just let them make the game. That's not their main priority. Yeah. Like it feels like Valve is just like, we're doing Steam, we're doing the Steam Deck, we're doing VR, we have our like resources in all these different buckets that we're focused on, and game development is just like siloed off somewhere, and they're like, yo, you got your game yet? Nah, not yet. And Valve's just like, all right, cool, let us know.
That's the scariest thing about Valve. It's like a side gig to them. You know what I mean?
That's what it feels like.
It really is. Like, because if they just stop making video games, they would just print money for the rest of their life. They just kind of sit back, put their feet up, and then just release some Dota stuff, and then maybe some Counter-Strike stuff, and call it a day. But the fact that they're making games, it's like, oh shit, you have people that are actually like interested in this. You know, this is not a top-down directive of like, you got to make Deadlock.
It has to come out this year.
You got to make this game. Like, no, this is just passionate people trying to make something cool. You know, the Aperture game that they released on the Steam Deck, like that was definitely not something that like, oh, we need this. Like, no, it'd be a cool idea. Let's make this happen. So I like this, and I'm happy that they're making it because they do have the energy behind it. So yeah, anytime that Valve can ship anything, it makes me excited.
And I'm also fascinated with the fact that they're not locked into certain IP.
Yeah,
everybody is asking. They're not deadlocked into certain IP.
I bit my tongue on that one.
Everybody's asking for a new Portal. Everybody's asking for a new Half-Life. Everybody's asking for a new Left 4 Dead or Team Fortress. People are banging on their door asking for certain things, and Valve's like, "Here's Deadlock.
Here's Half-Life Alyx.
Here's Half-Life. Here's a VR Half-Life game." They're just making whatever they want, and like, I don't know what the impressions are of Deadlock currently, if people are enjoying it or not, but like, I'm sure it's going to come out and probably be good, right? I'm sure it's going to come out and probably do its thing. I know I compared them to Frank Ocean at the top of this, but really, like, I think they're more like Rihanna, where Rihanna has Fenty.
Yes.
And Rihanna does not have to release another album ever, but I'm sure she's working on one, right? Yeah. I'm sure she's working on music on the side. I'm sure she's slowly getting that thing together, and one day she'll pop out and show people. But like, for now, she's like, I'm just working on my clothes.
I'm chilling on it, yeah.
I'm chilling.
Well, it makes me excited. So I'm happy for them, and one day we will see Half-Life 3. I believe it. I don't think too far. That's not a tease at all, clearly, because I don't know anything. But you think I know anything about Half-Life 3? But I mean, the ending of Half-Life Alyx, spoilers, teases a Half-Life 3.
How dare you? I've not played Half-Life Alyx yet. I was going to play it on my PSVR 2. I finally got the adapter. I didn't.
So I think we're going to get it.
Well, speaking of Valve, story number 4, Valve confirms it'll add SteamOS support to Asus ROG Ally.
Yeah.
Did I pronounce that right?
We call it the ROG.
I also go with Asus.
Asus ROG Ally. This is Taylor Lyles at IGN. Over 2 years after Valve released the Steam Deck and helped mainstream a new subgenre of PC gaming, the company confirmed that it would allow rival PC handhelds like the ROG Ally to run SteamOS. Speaking to The Verge, Valve designer Lawrence Yang confirmed that the company intends to allow competing portable gaming PCs to run its Linux-based operating system. The news comes just days after a new SteamOS patch notes revealed that the update, quote, added support for extra ROG Ally keys, end quote. The note about the ROG Ally keys is related to third-party device support for SteamOS. The team is continuing to work on adding support for additional handhelds on SteamOS, Yang told The Verge. However, don't expect SteamOS to be running on a device like the ROG Ally or Lenovo Legion Go anytime soon, as Yang explained that the team is making steady progress, yet the OS isn't ready to run out of the box yet, end quote. Once Valve gets a final build of SteamOS running on non-Steam Deck PC and handhelds, it'll mark the first time their operating system is available as an option to competing portable gaming PCs. Love it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Awesome.
They want their operating system everywhere. They want people buying Steam games.
Yeah. How do you feel about the SteamOS?
I think it's fine. It's usable. It's Linux based, so like every time I go in the desktop mode, my brain just breaks and I don't know what to do, and I freak out and I kind of cry a little bit. Yeah, and I piss my pants a little bit.
Yeah. Damn. Why are you booting into that mode then? Just stay in the SteamOS.
I pressed the wrong button. I don't know what's happening.
You don't have to go in there.
But I love the big picture mode. And I also love the big picture mode on my desktop, even when I'm playing on Windows, is the same thing as their big picture mode or the regular gaming setup on like the Steam Deck. You know what I mean? Like it looks the same. So that's really cool, and I love that that cohesion there. So yeah, it makes sense. This is not surprising. I just want an Xbox app on my Steam Deck. And
that'd be nice.
I just want to natively play Game Pass games on my Steam Deck.
Yeah.
That would be
that has to happen soon, right?
It won't.
You don't think so?
No, because they would have to give that money or part of that money to Valve at the very least, unless they figure out some weird workaround. But they just could not do it. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Story number 5, Fallout New Vegas director says he would lead a new Fallout game if granted creative freedom. This is Jordan Midler at Video Games Chronicle. Fallout New Vegas director Josh Sawyer has said that he'd work on a new Fallout title as long as a certain creative criteria were met. In the second of his recently launched Q&A series on his YouTube channel, the Pentiment director said he would happily return to Fallout depending on the level of creative freedom he'd be granted. Quote, Any project has to do with what are we doing, what are the boundaries, what am I allowed to do and not allowed to do, Sawyer said when asked by a fan about returning to the series. Quote, I think with any IP, especially one I've worked with before, what do I want to do this time that I wasn't able to do last time? If those constraints are just really constraining, then it's not appealing. Because who wants to work on something where the one thing they want to explore is not possible? End quote. Here's my thing, Roger.
Yeah.
That quote sounds like they really won't let him do what he wants to do. That sounds like somebody who is like, yo, I want to make a new Fallout game, but they won't.
Yeah, we've had the conversation.
Todd Howard won't let me do my thing.
To me, it sounds more of like they might have felt limited on what they were allowed to do with New Vegas, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That could be it too. But they made a great game out of New Vegas. That's a lot of people's favorite Fallout.
Yeah. I just think he's at a different point in his career right now where he's making pentiments of the world. He's making things that are like, oh no, these are my children. These are the things that I can say I made. This is my baby.
Yeah.
So if he's going to be in a world where, oh no, I have to deal with the lore of the show now, and now the Fallout 4 and 5, it's like it's not interesting to him, which I get.
What do you think he wants to do that they won't let him do? Because if you've played a Fallout, they let you do a lot of these games.
Yeah.
They got aliens in this thing.
I imagine leave America.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, I wonder if he wants to go, like do a Fallout in a different continent, and they're like, no.
Or maybe
especially because like what you're saying. Sorry to cut you off, Roger. Of like because there's so many games now, and they want to follow lore, and there's a show now that they got to follow and stuff. I imagine he's like, okay, I want to get the fuck away from all that.
Yeah.
Let me just go reigns free and do my own Fallout London or wherever the hell. And they're like, no, it must be America.
I love if like he's not even trying to go that far. He's just like, yo, I want to do Fallout Toronto. And Todd Howard's like, no.
We don't like Drake. We can't do it.
We can't do it.
No, I also think it's just maybe just the general oversight of like, hey, it would be Obsidian making it, right? But then Bethesda would be producers of it all, right? So then maybe you have to send over, I have this draft of the script. Now Todd Howard has to read it and be like, I don't like this. I don't like this. So it's like, it's just that general oversight that I could see just getting in the way of a creative like that. So,
especially when you have the option to do your own thing, right? Yeah. Again, this is a man who's making Pentiment and who's leading, projects at a studio. Do you really want to like do a new project that's going to give you all this oversight and probably make your life hell?
And it just gives you a lot of issues with fans and, pissing off everybody. It's like, just make my own thing.
Yeah.
So I totally get that. Respect that.
Story number 6. Let's Build a Zoo studio announces MMORPG dev sim. Let's build a dungeon.
It's the most insane trailer, by the way. Have you seen this trailer?
No.
Okay, can we watch it? Yeah. I don't think we need sound, but like...
Have it up as I read, and I'll be glancing at it, because this looks...
So yeah,
it sounds awesome.
So yeah, you're making like this MMO, but then you also have to go and make the dev team, and then you have to hire people, artists,
is awesome.
And then it's what a weird video game, and I loved Let's Build a Zoo. So this gets me very excited.
I actually kind of want to. What the fuck is up with this? What's he summoning? Oh, is that the game?
Yeah, he's making the game inside of this.
I thought that was still the dev studio. I was like, what studio is this?
It's such an insane idea.
Yeah, I mean, you basically just explain everything that the article goes through, right? Like you can get into development schedules, ad campaigns, and press relationships. You have to manage that stuff. Players can also actually develop the games themselves, which is pretty nuts. That's really cool to make a game where the players are tasked with making a game.
Yes. And
that's really cool.
I love this idea because I used to play Game Dev Tycoon all the time, which is a game that came out, and it's not a great game. It is just, you type in the name of the game and you just make a bunch of sliders and it'd be like, oh, your game's a hit. Your game sucks. Like, it was a fun, like, wish fulfillment game, but, like, this is, like, the ultimate idea of this, and I've been waiting for a game
Hold on. This part, this part of the trailer is hilarious. So they had Game Misinformer, rest in peace. They had LieGN.
Yeah, which is insane.
And these are quotes. They have Giant Bull, which is Giant Bomb. This is a great trailer.
Yeah.
Wait, do they have kind of shitty in here?
No.
Shitty.
Let's Build it. This is an insane sequel from, Let's Build a Zoo, which is a great game and has a lot of fun elements where you would be able to take two different animals, put them together, and now you have a lion, bunny, and it's like, it just gets really weird really fast. So the fact that they're doing something as insane as this feels like almost a dream game. So
that's really cool.
I'm excited. And they're going to announce some more stuff about it, I believe, in the next week with Gamescom. So
hell yeah. Well, I hope it makes it big. But Roger,
Oh.
If I wanted something small, say the tiniest news I need to know about, where would I go?
You go to our last story, the Wii News channel, where we cover all the small news items you need to know about.
Story number 7. It is time for Wii News. PlayStation Plus Premium / Extra games have been announced for August 2024. The extra games you're getting are The Witcher 3, Wild Hearts, Cult of the Lamb, Ride 5, Watch Dogs 2, Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker, Sword Art Online, Alicization Licoris. And then also Sword Art Online Last Recollection. Oh, and then also Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet and Sword Art Online Hollow Realization. I watched an episode of Sword Art Online once. Never again.
Never again. Never again. It's just Spy Kids 3D.
Premium games look like this. You got Vacation Simulator. Then you also got Time Splitters. Woo! Time Splitters 2. Woo! Time Splitters Future Perfect. Woo! And Sword Art Online Lost Song.
Oh, Tim specifically slacked us to go all out for shouting out Time Splitters.
I was gonna read that and I was just gonna be like, okay, so now let's go all out. I was just gonna look at you and just be in silence and be like, next story.
Next story. All right, let's move on. Okay.
Really, are they available to just buy on their own? Do we know? Is that a thing, or is because I don't want to sign up for premium just to play those games.
I think you might have to sign up for premium. But kindoffunny.com says you're wrong. If Bear can just buy the games, let him know. Beetlejuice arrives in Multiverses on August 20th. Until Dawn launches October 4th on PS5 and PC. Right now, Barrett's showing the Beetlejuice trailer. Roger, don't say that word one more time or else it'll appear.
Oh no! Bandersness says you can buy them. So that's exciting.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
I Am Your Beast has been delayed to September 10th.
Oh no!
Yeah, Xalavier put up a tweet kind of explaining the reason for the delay. This game was supposed to come out like tomorrow.
Yeah.
But he said they had to delay for both working on the game stuff, but then also preserving dev health. And so if you really want to know, go check out Xalavier Nelson.
I also saw
on
a post where they were trying to add a feature where the main character rips off the scopes of every gun because he hates scopes, and they were trying to do that before the launch of the game. So hopefully that feature
they're like, this is the thing that the game needs. You can't add.
We're gonna delay it, but that's exciting. I'm excited for that game.
And then one more, Barkhor has been announced. I'm going to read from IGN for a second. Barkhor, the latest game from Bee Simulator developer Varsoft Studios, is, to quote the team, an action stealth game where you take on the role of a tail-wagging canine 009 agent, unleashed by a secret organization to fight evil in a world that's anything but rough and serious. And he spells rough, R-U-F-F. This game is due out in 2025 for PC.
At first, I was mad at it. I was like, why are we doing Stray again with a dog? But now, it's a stealth thing. I'm into it.
I'll tell you what, if they made Stray with a dog, game of the year. Game of the year.
Stray's a good game.
It's cool. It's all right. It's all right. But like with a dog, though? Oh my God. Come here, little fluffy. That's it for Wii News. Now it's time for kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. Rewrite in, let us know what we got wrong as we got it wrong. Bander SN said the Wii U did launch with 2 SKUs featuring different memory. The white Wii U was $300 with 8 gigabytes, while the black Wii U was $350 with 32 gigs and came out with Nintendo Land. That's the other thing is you can bundle in a game in there too.
Yeah, Nintendo Land.
Well, not with the Switch 2. I would think.
No, put Nintendo Land on this one.
Dude, no joke, I'd be so fucking hyped. If they brought back Nintendo Land as the launch title for Switch 2, I'd be like, let's fucking go. They're listening. Kebabs pointed out Blessing accidentally said deadlocked. That is true. I caught myself, but I didn't mention. I didn't correct myself.
Yeah.
It's because I was thinking of Ratchet Deadlocked, the true Deadlocked game. And then Mr. Hawk says, quick clarification on Roger saying the Let's Build Dungeon devs are showing more soon. Quote, find out more during the Xbox Gamescom stream on August 21st. So that's exactly where you can find that.
Good call.
Before we get out of here, I want to shout out a couple more super chats for you. Street Shadow says, Time Splitters includes local multiplayer as well. DJ Kento says, at $400, it better outperform the Steam Deck. I assume they're talking about the Switch 2 there. We talked about HD Rumble for a bit. Oh, and then we had a few. Rocket Guardian says, Barrett, it's been a few days now, and I need to know, new 4 years strong, what's your thoughts?
4 Years Strong, just to let you two know, is like a punk band that's been around for a while. I like the new album. It's not one of my favorites, but it's not one of their low points for sure. Starts off in a really good spot, and they get funky and weird with it, which I appreciate. But it doesn't have that like energy that I look for in Enemy of the World or their like big return album from like 2015 or whatever. But yeah, that's good.
While we're on the topic of albums, Roger, I know you're a big Logic fan. What do you think of the new Logic album?
I listened to the first few songs. I was like, can't do this.
No?
You can't do this. I do like the album cover. It's like, oh shit, it's a real album.
Yeah.
I thought you were retired.
No.
No.
Okay.
But he
Rappers
did.
don't
Remember, I
retire.
was thinking about the other day. Remember when he got like a few $1 million from Twitch to start streaming? Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Did he ever keep streaming? Like, did he stop?
I don't believe so.
I
I'm
feel
not
like after a
regularly.
month he was done.
He was done.
I don't know how the fuck he got that money. Like, good for him.
I mean, he made $30 million a few years ago to keep making albums.
What?
He keeps saying it. He says it in like half his songs. He's like, I made $30 million.
He tweeted the video of like, oh, here's my new album, hashtag biracial. I was like, no. we can't.
Would you believe? Okay, here's the thing, right? I have listened to quite a bit of this Logic
shit.
album. I think there's a lot of bad Logic albums out there. I do think there are a lot of good Logic albums out there. This one, I'll say, is like right in the medium. So it's cool. It's like,
is biracial like a huge part of this? Is like that?
There is one song where he gets back into the topic of being biracial. Yes.
Okay.
And I'm like, bro, you got to stop. You got to stop making these songs, man.
It's like when you
got to give up. You're not winning this fight.
Yeah. No, well, it's like we're making a joke, we're making the bit, and then he like tries to be in on it, and it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, he does that, and then here's the thing, right? He has the clear, and we need to get out of the show. But
yeah,
like,
we really do.
He has the clear symptoms of somebody that is very self-conscious about this specific topic, and like you can tell that it bothers him.
Yeah.
And I get it because I'm like, listen, a lot of things bother me too. Like I understand exactly what that feels like when a bunch of people are at you for whatever reason, right? But he'll do the thing where he's in on the joke and then he'll defend himself in the next song, and it's like, okay, so you're not in on the joke then.
Yeah.
Like you are taking this personally, but I get it at the same time.
For sure,
I'm not mad
I
at him
totally
for
get it.
but
Yeah. But it was just the hashtag biracial that made me laugh.
And then Jared F says, who on the Kinda Funny crew is the AAA fantasy RPG gamer? I'll stop right there. It's Andy. But to continue, who will get the review code for the Elder Scrolls 6 or Fable, Dragon Age, or The Witcher 4? Okay, well, that's a different question.
Well, we're going to fight to the death over that one.
Yeah, Dragon Age will be Andy. The Witcher 4...
Andy?
Oh,
Andy?
I don't think so.
I can see it being me for The Witcher 4.
Honestly,
or Greg.
You or Greg.
Yeah, probably me or Greg. Fable, maybe Mike.
No.
Because Xbox... Doesn't he like the Fable games?
Oh, maybe.
I assume he likes every Xbox thing.
Yeah.
And then Elder Scrolls 6, Greg,
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
of like
That's a
his
great one.
Starfield love.
That's great.
Yeah.
Although Greg likes Starfield a lot because of the setting in space. I could see maybe, if it's not him, I could see him being either Andy or me. Probably more Andy.
Avowed, give it to me.
Avowed, be Roger.
I fucking...
Yeah, we'll just
Please, just please, just give
me
Yeah,
that.
that's not even a fight. Yeah.
That's the thing is like,
You'll be begging me.
if you want to ask who
Please review this game.
if you want to ask who the fantasy RPG gamer is, I would say it's probably more Andy than anybody, right? Like that man loves him some Dragon Age. That man loves him some Dragon's Dogma. Like he looks at a Dragon's Dogma and initially gets excited. For me,
Yeah.
I look at it and I'm like, what is this bullshit?
We gotta be sold on that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
I got to be sold. Like a Baldur's Gate 3,
Yeah.
I had to get my hands on it before I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I get it. And that's it for Super Chats. Roger, it's time for Gamescast. Woo! We're going to talk about Visions of Mana. Ooh, that's also a good question of like, that's a fantasy RPG. Is that an indie joint or is that more of a me
It's a great
joint?
question.
We're going to have to talk about that after this. Of course, each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. I guess it might be a Barrett joint because it is a JRPG.
Might be a Barrett joint. Fuck you.
I don't know you to play open zone fantasy RPG games.
It's a JRPG, dude.
Yeah, but you don't play every JRPG. I don't see you out here playing Xenogears.
That's true, actually.
When was the last Xenogears you played, Barrett?
Dude.
Did you play the last Xenoverse Chronicles? Because the real JRPG nerds did. Exactly. Where did you play? Oh, what's the game out there mad at us for?
End the show. End the show. End the show.
I did.
You did.
We didn't like it.
Yeah, that happens. Of course, if you love what we do, support us with the Kinda Funny membership on Patreon or on YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show. Enjoy the GamesCast next and the stream after, but until next time, game daily.